Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Yarnflakes Podcast. My name is Audrey and this is a nitty yarny podcast from the southwest of France. Hang on a second, do I have lipstick on my teeth? It doesn't look like I do. So, what a great way to start. Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me for this new episode. I hope you're all doing very well. I am. I have quite a few things to show you. I have selected a bunch of projects which are vastly different, so I think it's going to make it all quite exciting. I have a pattern release to announce, as it's usually the case. I have three works in progress that you've never seen. One of which is a really cool design thing that I will have lots of things to say about. And I also want to review a new pattern collection that is just out today. I am recording this on Wednesday the 4th, but this will go up tomorrow on the 5th. So if you are watching this, Making Stories has released their new pattern collection, the September collection, and I especially love it, so I agreed to make a review out of it. So I will talk about that towards the end of the episode and show you a couple of patterns from there. But yeah, I think that's gonna be good for today. I don't have much to, like, I'm wearing a little pin by Lise Taylor, which is a French knitter, sewist, seamstress, I guess is the right term. No, sewist works too. So what is it? Is this sewist masculine, seamstress feminine? That looks horrible, but maybe that's the case. But yeah, she is a lovely person, and she last year, I think so, yeah, released her own series of printed fabrics, printed stationery, and she also made these really cute little fox pin. And I decided that it was time for autumn. So I know I had some people disagree with me and just wanted to have an Indian summer type of thing. No. No. I refuse that thing to happen. I want cool weather now. And it seems like my wishes are being answered to, because it's currently like 10 Celsius degrees in the morning here, so it's quite chilly when I have to go out to the gym in the morning. I am cold. But that's good, because I can wear autumn colored thing, autumn theme pins, and I can show you autumn related patterns. And I am going to start right now. I'm full of energy. I don't know what's up. So I'm sorry if I am a little bit all over the place today, but I don't know. I'm feeling good. I'm happy, and so I'm like a little bit energetic and really excited about the things I want to share with you. I have been bursting with a lot of work lately, so I guess it's kind of crawling in the back of my head, all the excitement about releasing stuff and everything. So I am going to start the podcast. You can find timestamps to all the different sections in the description down below, so if you want to skip anything from the podcast, feel free to look at that and jump ahead. I also put links to everything that I talk about, as well as my social media and patterns for sale on Ravelry. That lipstick thing is going to bug me quite often, I believe. I do love wearing lipstick, and I rarely get lipstick on my teeth, but for some reason this morning did it. So anyway, first up is a new pattern that I just released, and I'm really excited about this because it's mittens. Yay! So I don't think you've seen it on the podcast, but maybe you have, I don't know. But these are a pair of colorwork mittens, the Onagre mittens, which are now available on Ravelry. I just released them. So Onagre is French for evening primrose. Is there a thing as just primrose and then it's evening primrose, but onagre is evening primrose, and they're a pair of mittens. They're more like a Latvian type of mitten because they do not have a thumb gusset. So they're fingering weight, they require quite a tight gauge, but as usual for my colorwork patterns, I give you all indication and the exact formula that you just need to follow so that you can get a different size. And you do that by getting a different gauge. That is just the most convenient for small colorwork accessories because you can just go up and down in gauge and get the little difference that you would need. So in case the measurements written in the pattern don't look good to you, I also give indication on how it should fit. Basically, if you want them tight, if you want them loose, I tell you the ease that you should aim for, whether it's positive or no ease. And if the measurements required in the mentioned in the pattern don't quite fit you, not to worry, because the pattern does give you everything you need so that you can make them bigger, smaller, however you please. Several of my testers choose different needle size, different thickness of yarn to achieve the size that they're needed for their hand circumference. I will get back to my testers later. But so it's fingering weights, and you start with the little cuff, which since we're talking about sizing and gauge, this can pretty much serve as your swatch. What I recommend, it's like for socks, you know, you don't really want to, let's be honest, you don't really want to make a swatch for such a small knitting project. So if you just start knitting the cuff, well, it's basically a swatch, because if you swatch, it's not going to be much smaller than this. So you might as well just start with what sounds good for you to get the measurements that you want. And once you've done the cuff, and this is all written in the pattern, you can try the mitten on and see if it fits you well. And then you can decide if you can continue, or maybe you can change up the needle. So these are all little sizing tips that are written in the pattern. You have this little belt of pearl, and then you have the main motif, which is this kind of flower buds type of thing. And yeah, you have like quite strict lines around so that it's like pretty neat, and this is how the palm looks like. So like I told you, there is no thumb gusset, so it was really interesting for me to figure out the right number of stitches, the right measurements that you would need for it to fit nicely. And it does fit nicely. I really like the fit of Latvian type mittens like this. It's so odd, but it actually works. And yeah, so this makes it pretty easy. So I wanted this to be like a basic mitten, colorwork mitten pattern for fingering weight. So if you're a beginner in mittens, you can pretty much go ahead and try this, because the fact that there's no thumb gusset makes it easier. I give pretty detailed instructions on how to pick up for the thumb so that it continues the motif, as you can see, and on the front you kind of have a repeat of the flower bud thing. And yeah, several of my testers were beginners, and they did great. Let me put both on. I don't know why that would be necessary, but there you go, there are two mittens. So yeah, the pattern is tailored, like I said, with beginner mitten knitters in mind. So it is very simple, it's a quick knit, and it's quite fun. The color association possibilities are pretty endless, and it makes really cozy, pretty mitten. I liked that the motif was kind of flowery, but at the same time not too preppy, because it's like a geometric thing as well. So I really liked them. So yay! If you were looking for like getting the base of your Latvian type mittens, the pattern is made for that, so I really hope you like them. I knitted mine out of a lovely yarn which was dyed by Natalie from By Night Dyes. So Natalie, I've already mentioned her because she was also the dyer behind the yarn from my Alphabeto socks. So she's a dyer from Belgium, she's absolutely lovely, she naturally dyes yarns. And this is a base that she released quite recently. This is her serious base, so it's a blend of BFL and Gotland, and oh my, it's absolutely beautiful. It's so soft once you wash it, and so lovely, and it really does a great job at color work. And so I have used kind of a natural base color, and my contrast color is dyed with logwood, which makes this really dark purple. And Natalie is having kits up for sale on her website, so she will have a combination similar to this, and then a version dyed with madder, which makes this beautiful rusty red color for a contrast. And she will have pictures of that version as well, because someone knitted a sample for her. And so you can check out Natalie's Instagram and website. Like I said, she's By Night everywhere, By Night Dyes or By Night Creations, but if you look for By Night you probably find her. And yeah, I'm really excited that she took the time to make kits, because this was a situation where I kind of did the pattern like in my own corner. I was like, yeah, I'm using your yarn, but I'm not really telling you because I don't want to have the setup of a collaboration and everything. But when she saw the mittens, she wanted to make kits and everything for it, and yeah, I felt a bit bad because she had to do this quite in a rush, but as well as I felt also thankful because yeah, I really appreciate that she liked the design so much that she wanted to provide kits for it. So she will also be selling them on markets and festivals where she will be. So yeah, the Onagre mittens, like I said, fairly straightforward shape, beginner friendly. Really, the color work itself is not complicated. You do have to catch floats, especially here. I assume you can see where you would need to, but the motifs are pretty simple, and since it's always kind of the same, it's a bit potato chippy and you can hardly mess it up. But yeah, do check my testers versions because they all used a combination of different yarns, different colors. So if you want to have an idea of how it looks in brighter colors, there are several versions that are like light blue and cream. One is like a bright pink. Like there's a lot of different color combinations, and they all look really interesting. So yeah. There is a little coupon code for the release, so the code ONAGRE will give you 20% off the pattern until this Sunday. So yeah, I really hope you like them. I absolutely love designing them. It's such a satisfying project, and yeah, it can really be like a versatile blank mitten type for you. So once you get these right and you can see how they function, you can absolutely very easily make up your own, like drawing your own motif, because you will have all the math written in the pattern and all the technique down for you. So yeah, I really like providing like essential patterns that are accessible to beginners so that you understand how to make things, and then you can like adapt them, or in the case of color work, it's just so easy to draw your own motif. So yeah, I really hope you like knitting on them, and yay! This is showing them off a little bit more. Yep, as you can see, the motif goes down pretty seamlessly. And it was really interesting working on the indications of this with my testers. We managed to get something that is so simple and straightforward, and yeah, it's a really simple shape with like lots of little details that make it quite neat, I think. So yay, my little flowery slash nice and classy little Onagre mittens. So yeah, I believe I've said everything for this design. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't hesitate to go give it a look. The Ravelry link and all the information to get the 20% off will be in the description as usual. And yeah, now I think I'm gonna move on to my works in progress, and I might as well just stay with the mittens, right? So it's mitten season. So this is one, and I have two other mittens patterns planned for the season, so I guess that's it. So, little background of this. You probably remember me talking about Snaeldan yarns, which is a brand of yarn from the Fairy Island, which is, I just love how you're supposed to say fairy. It's just absolutely lovely. Snaeldan is a yarn that I really love. It's fairies yarn wool. It's a great yarn. It comes in different weights, different colors. I really love it for color work. I love it for textures because it shows off textures quite nicely. It's pretty soft for a woolly wool. It's really lovely type of yarn. And I have a sweater quantity that was intended for a design, and I kind of changed my mind about things and I decided to make it into a color work thing. And so I ordered a skein of Snaeldan yarn, and I wanted fingering weight to match the sweater quantity that I have. So in France, Snaeldan is distributed by the lovely Yasmin of Laine des Îles. She does ship worldwide, so you can check it out. I am so happy that her online shop exists, because she sells a bunch of really interesting woolly wool in France, and that's it. The fact that it's very easy to get Snaeldan in France thanks to her is absolutely lovely. She also has Tuku wool. She has some of blacker yarns and Ullcentrum, and she has a lot of, I don't know why I roll that are, but I guess Swedish rolls they are, right? But she has a lot of interesting yarns, and so I ordered the fingering weight skein of Snaeldan from her, and unfortunately she did a mistake and she sent me a skein of DK. And so I let her know. I was like, oh, you sent me a DK and I wanted the fingering weight. And she very kindly just sent me the fingering weight and told me to keep the DK one. So that was really sweet of her, and I really appreciate it. I've been a customer of her shop for like quite a while, ever since I discovered it, and I've mentioned it to you several times already, especially on Instagram and stuff. So, well, I ended up with a skein of Snaeldan DK, and I immediately knew I wanted to make mittens out of it. And this was back like in April. This was in April, and I was like, okay, well, a DK cream yarn, mittens for the winter, obviously. It took me quite a while to find out what I wanted to do, because the fact that it's a light color, you don't want overly busy texture, because like it's still cream, and so it doesn't show quite nicely, and I wanted it to be like a kind of a pure natural kind of vibe thing. And so I'm going to carefully, okay, so this is what I came up with. I knew I wanted a twisted rib that goes in a triangle like this. I just think it's very elegant when it just goes here on the top of your, just on the top of your wrist, and it also does it on the inside. You'll understand why I'm doing this. On the inside as well, it mirrors, it's like it's at a different height, so it's like a little tiny secret on the inside of your wrist. I know I wanted this to be like this. I know I wanted a mitten construction that would be a bit more classic, so to say, as in the thumb goes to the side. I do really like that shape for mittens as well. I actually think it's my favorite fitting mitten. I don't know, I guess it depends on how our hands are, but for me the fact that the thumb goes to the side is more convenient. I don't know if my thumb is particularly flexible or whatever, but I really like that shape. So I wanted it to be a standard mitten shape, not necessarily what you see in colorwork mittens. I wanted to do something different. And then I didn't know what to do over there on the top. I was like, I kind of want something simple. I kind of want something that's fun, that's easy, that adds a little texture. But everything that I could think about, I was like, it's not enough. It's not enough. Like such a basic mitten pattern. I mean, I do like offering simple patterns, but if you want a basic mitten pattern, there are hundreds on Ravelry. Like literally. So you don't need me for that. And so I always was like, I need to find something that's gonna make these nice. So once I found what I wanted to do, I decided on the front to go for this little cable, because I just found it was such a nice little texture detail that was there but not really there, you know. It's like, it's quite subtle. It's a 5-stitch cable with a purl stitch in the middle, really easy to do, and it's just a fun little texture that makes the mitten look really nice and simple from the front, but still quite interesting to knit with that cable, because it kind of makes you go like next twist, next twist, next twist. But what's fun is that this is not it. Like, the point of these mittens is this. So I decided to make convertible mittens, because I don't know why I never thought about this, but convertible mittens are like amazing. It's like, it's massive. It's the best thing in the world, because look, I can do this, and then I can do this, and then I have my fingers. Isn't that brilliant? Oh my god, when I first knitted this one, and I kept doing this, yep, and yep, and yep, and I was so proud of myself, and so ridiculous. I mean, I'm making a fuss out of what is not, because everyone knows about convertible mittens. It's like everyone had them when they were a toddler, right? But I was just so proud of being able to knit a pair like this, and it's so convenient. Because sometimes you kind of need to be able to fuss around with your fingers, and to have, if you're using your phone, obviously, and yeah. So I designed a pair of convertible mittens, and I'm really happy with the way I managed to have it look and work. I recorded a whole tutorial for this, so there will be a whole tutorial on the pattern, in the pattern, to telling you how to work it. So I haven't finished it yet, but look, this is the second one, and as you can see, there's scrap yarn here, so you kind of, this is where you make the hole. And yeah, I made a step-by-step tutorial on everything. I tried to make it as concise as possible, but as well to have all the information that you would need. It's not complicated at all. It has a couple of like 3 or 4 different steps to it, but it's really easy, and it allows for a lot of it leaves you leverage. Basically, you never have to be super precise with things, and the only thing you need to be careful about is when you knit the inside rib. I have you pick up stitches on the wrong side of the palm, and so you just need to be careful that it's not too visible on the front. As you can see a little line, but not a lot. So that is maybe the only thing you have to be picky about, and even so, it's fairly easy. So I am so happy with these. I really like them, and I love the convertible principle so much. I love being able to make a tutorial, so the pattern will have that video in it, and you will be able to transfer that method to all the mittens that you want. Of course, it's also possible to do it for the thumb. I don't do it because I don't really need the touch of my thumb. And also, since it's a small circumference, it's a bit fiddly. So my thinking is that it's too fiddly for no benefits. I only really need my 4 fingers here. But yeah, so I'm knitting on the second one, and I'm really liking it. And so I want to have them done like for the winter. So I'll make a call for testers soon. And hopefully we'll get them to you in not too long, because I'm like all excited and telling you about them, and they're not actually released yet. So it's just a terrible marketing scheme, isn't it? But yeah, the yarn just works so nicely, and you can see the difference between unblocked and block. And just Snaeldan, when you blocks it, it gets this little flurry halo that really worked for the cable, because it kind of blurred it and it kind of looked like a snowy kind of thing. Oh, I really like them. I really like this. I really like the converter. I like everything about this design. I'm stupidly proud of it. Like, I'm so excited about this, and I'm like blabbering about it and so full of myself. And in the comments you can tell me that I'm exaggerating and that, Audrey, you're stupid. I know this is not a new thing, but I'm just happy that I kind of have figured it out myself. And yeah, those of you who would like to make convertible mitten and want an easy, not thinking about the video tutorial to follow, well, this is what I plan to do for you. So yeah, my mom wants convertible mittens now. My boyfriend Marius, he wants convertible mittens now. So I guess I'm gonna have to make a bunch of those, like not necessarily the pattern, this or whole pattern, but the convertible part. So maybe you will see some more convertible mitten whips in the future. But yeah, I'm going to finish the second one because I want to get them out to you in the autumn/winter that is coming. And yeah, this is it doesn't exactly have a name yet. I kind of know, like I have name ideas that was generously given to me by the owner of a yarn shop in Toulouse, who we found out was we were probably in high school at the same time. Anyway, knitting yarn shop and cafe opened in Toulouse at the beginning of the summer. And I finally was able to go, because I don't live in Toulouse. I have to take the train because I don't have a car. But I was finally able to go a couple of weeks back, and it was absolutely lovely meeting her. And she has much more intense, like I studied linguistics, but she more specifically and more intensively studied Occitan, so the regional language of where we are, around Toulouse. And she very kindly offered to help me naming my patterns, checking that what I'm saying is accurate. So that was really kind of her, and she gave me a bunch of name ideas, and I'm so happy. Her name is Audrey as well. This is ridiculous. But she very kindly sent me a bunch of names based on themes that I gave her, and I showed her these mittens, and she came up with a couple of really beautiful snowy related words in Occitan that I really liked, and I haven't chosen yet because there are several I like. But yeah, this doesn't have this fixed name yet, but they will very soon. Convertible mittens. Yay! I think I have to title this podcast like "Way Too Excited for Nothing" or something like that. But yeah, Snaeldan yarn, amazing yarn, soft enough for mittens, for shawl when it's washed if you're not sensitive. Although I have to say something quite funny. is that, so I was knitting on the mittens when it was still pretty hot, and I was wearing shorts, and so I had my bare legs, and the yarn was sitting on my thigh. And so just to let you know how it is true that you get used to rustic wool, because touching Snaeldan on my hands, I have no problem. Touching Snaeldan on my neck, I have no problem, because I have a cardigan in Snaeldan, so all over my torso, hands, neck, I don't have an issue, because I'm used to knitting with it, so it touches my hands quite a lot, and I'm used to wearing it as a upper garment, so to me it doesn't even feel slightly a bit of rustic. It's like softer than horse yarn. It's like really one of the softest rustic woolly wool I know. It's like no problem at all. But on my thigh, it was kind of prickly a little bit, because I don't usually wear wool on my thighs, and so my skin on my thigh isn't used to Snaeldan yarn, and so I was a little bit uncomfortable. And so it just proved again how you really get used to woolly wools in terms of sensitivity. And maybe I should knit myself a pair of shorts to teach my thighs to appreciate wool a little bit better. There's a couple of shorts pattern, like or underwear, but like not underwear, but like shorts patterns that are really nice and fun. So why not? But yeah, so far I'm gonna stick to mittens. This is it for my first work in progress. Oh my god, I thought this was going to be such a short podcast, but I realized I don't know what's up with me. I swear I'm not taking any sort of drugs, because I feel like I'm really too much energy. Too much energy. I have been drinking a special melatonin vitamin drink. Melatonin? Is that the word in English as well? The kind of chemical thing in your brain that helps you fall asleep. And like, I just have tested this because my brother gave it to me and told me, look, this is like a nice flavored drink that doesn't have sugar and that might help you relax. It just has some vitamins and the melatonin thing, especially the melatonin thing, because you're not supposed to take vitamins before you go to sleep, whatever. And I drank it at like 9 in the evening, and at 10 there was no more ordering. I went to put my glass back in the kitchen, and I almost fell because I was like so dizzy and so I want to sleep, and I fell asleep so easily, so easily. That is great. It's a little bit scary. I always had issues falling asleep. I'm a very light sleeper. I need to sleep with earplugs. I have issues because I just, even if in a relatively quiet place, it's never really quiet because there's always someone in the house who's moving, who's breathing, or something. I know there's gonna be a noise at some point during the night, and it kind of prevents me from falling asleep, knowing that I will be woken up by a noise. Anyone who has sleep issues know what I'm talking about. But I just I always had issues falling asleep, and when I was a teenager, my doctor prescribed me sleeping drugs, like real sleeping drugs, and it worked. But then I eventually needed to stop taking them because it's not good to rely on such a thing. And when I stopped taking them, even though I did like a progressive thing and I didn't even take such a big dose, the moment I stopped taking them, I was awake, fully awake for a good 2 days, and not being able to sleep and not feeling tired, and that felt really wrong because you need to sleep. Sleep is good, sleep is healthy, and that kind of scared me, and so I don't like taking any sort of drugs to help me sleep because I don't like doing that. So this melatonin thing, even though it's kind of more of a natural kind of thing, it's not really a sleeping drug. Like, it's not a drug, a medical thing, basically. It's like plants, I think. And so I was impressed. I'm not gonna take it every night because it's ridiculously efficient. But why am I talking about this? This is the only drug I took in the last month or so. So I swear, I'm fine. I'm just, oh my god, just stop, enough. Next work in progress. I told you I wanted to knit the Mellon headband by Sari Nordlund, which I think I told you, which is an absolutely gorgeous headband with twisted stitches, and I absolutely loved it and totally converted to headbands. I want a dozen of them now. And I didn't know which color to knit it in, and so I was looking at this yarn, which is yarn from Heidi, which is a French dyer who kind of specifies in dyeing really luxurious, fancy type of yarn. And so she has that merino, yak and silk base, which seemed fitting to me because this headband needs great stitch definition. It needs to be kind of soft and precious like, because it's a pretty headband, so if it has a bit of silk and it shines, it's nice. And the yak just has a really good base color, and so it just makes the dyeing over it absolutely beautiful. But I couldn't decide between two colors. I couldn't decide between having a simple undyed natural one, so one, or this bright red one. So this is natural, this is grenat. And I'm going to go into full Mickey Mouse here. Minnie Mouse, I guess. Oh my god, and Minnie Mouse has like dots as well on her outfit, doesn't she? Whatever. I couldn't decide if I wanted just a simple, classic, easy to wear grey headband, or if I wanted to go full on Christmas little elf and go for that red thing. So what did I do? I got both, and I'm making both. I don't know though, so I started making the red one. I'm gonna show you in a minute, I promise. I started making the red one and I absolutely love it. I'm not sure if I'm going to make the Mellon again in the grey. Probably. I'm gonna have a look at Ravelry and see if I found another fun headband pattern that I can use this with. But I do really like the concept of twisted stitches and little cables and thing. So I don't know, maybe I'll still follow the headband, the Mellon pattern by Sari, and make different twisted stitches, but I really like this motif, so look at that, oh my god. Absolutely beautiful. So it's a tube, you knit in a round, absolutely beautiful, and just, oh my god. Just trying to stretch it so you can see a little bit. Really, really beautiful, really deceptively easy, because it's not very complicated. It's like nothing is really complicated in knitting. Things are fiddly. Things are fiddly and or unpleasant to work, but they're never really complicated, are they? Unless you start grading patterns. But this is so nice. And so you cast on and you just knit the tube until you reach the desired length, and then you twist it, I assume. I'm not so sure. Is this how I'm supposed to do it? There's a photo tutorial, and I guess when I'll be doing it, it'll make sense for me. Really, really nice. I absolutely love it. I love how it looks. I love the result. I mean, look at this. Oh, it looks so retro. It looks so 50s with the lipstick and everything. It's not complicated to do. Like I said, it's a bit fiddly. For these cables, you're cabling 7 stitches, and you need to have to keep a purl stitch in the center, kind of like the mittens, the convertible mittens I showed you, the cable on the front, but this is 7 stitches, and it's 7 tiny stitches. Half of them are twisted, and so you definitely need a cable needle. Like, I think I did all of this without the cable needle, just trying to catch up the stitches with my fingers, and in the end I thought, okay, I'm going to make something terrible. It's definitely going to happen. So I decided to play safe, and well, I'm just using a DPN because I don't have a cable needle that's small enough. But use a cable needle. You won't die because you see the cabling rows are actually quite far apart. But it's not complicated. You do need to follow the chart just to know how it starts, because in the end you start to understand, is this a plain row? Is this a row where I need to make these wraps? And if so, where? Is this a full-on cabling row with these twists, with these big twists? So you kind of need to keep the chart and look at the row that you're about to do to know what's it gonna be. But in itself, it's not like you have to look at the chart and look at every stitch and be like, okay, this I have to do this. It's sort of an in-between, basically, and I really like it because it keeps you interested, because you know you're following something and you're making progress little by little, and you're not either super focused. So I'm perfectly able to do it while watching YouTube or Netflix. I just have the chart in a little corner or of my computer, and I just go up to kind of see what I'm supposed to do. But then it's just purl twisted stitches and cables, and the pattern is clear, the pattern is really simple. You just follow the chart and go ahead. And I just absolutely love how it looks. The definition of the yarn is perfect. I think I ended up choosing a really nice base for it, and I can't wait to block it. Think so basically you knit it until it reaches the size that you want. So basically I'm gonna keep placing it at the middle of my head here and stretching it just a little bit and see, because okay, so maybe I'm almost at the middle, I guess. And when you're done, you seam the two ends together. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that because like it's a tube, but so it's written in the pattern how to do it as well. So yeah, I really like it. And so before seaming, I'll have to block it, and I think I'm gonna cut out some cardboard from a pack of cereals or something, and just cut out a piece that's gonna be the measurement that I want, and just insert it in the middle just so that it stretches. It doesn't stretch too much, like something like this. No, even a bit less. Anyway, I think this is how I'm gonna block it. I'll let you know once I do it. I'm enjoying it. It's not gonna be super quick because I have too many other projects on the go. I did the mistake of casting on a bunch of projects and I shouldn't have, and it's awful, but it's okay because now I'm going to finish them eventually. But yes, I really enjoy knitting on it. I think it's absolutely lovely, and it's gonna be really fun to wear in the winter. Marius, my boyfriend, and I, we booked our little holiday trip for Christmas. We're going back to Sibiu, a really beautiful medieval city that we discovered in summer, and we want to see it in winter. So it's a medieval city in Romania where my boyfriend lives, so Sibiu, and apparently it's really nice in the winter too. So we booked our Christmas holiday there. And there's probably gonna be snow, even though there's snow where my boyfriend lives, but every time I go there for Christmas, for some reason there's no snow. It's like the snow is running away from me. I like snow, I want to see snow, but I'm very unlucky with it. Like it never is there when I'm looking for it. But hopefully there will be snow in Sibiu and I will be able to wear my Mellon headband and be a perfect 50s wintry picture. Yeah. So like I said, I don't know if I'm going to make exactly the same one with the natural color. I'll see, but it's definitely going to be something. another headband. So yay! I think I've seen Sari make socks with the same motif, so that would be nice. Not with this yarn obviously, but if you like this motif, and you should because it's totally gorgeous, but you're not into headbands, yeah, I've seen her make socks. You can easily just get the Mellon headband maybe and figure it out as well. Like, it would be nice as a sweater, like all over, everywhere. Oh my god, this would be quite a thing to knit. But as a little project like this, I just think it's really clever that she uses like a meticulous kind of cabling and twisted stitches motif on a small project, so you're kind of balancing the things out. It's really, really nice. Anyway, this podcast is going to be way too long. I have one last work in progress to share with you, and I just started it. I decided to test knit another sweater. Why do I do this? I've been following Emily, the Blue Mouse, on Instagram and on Ravelry for a while. I really like her designs. She has a really fun aesthetic that is both kind of simple and comfortable. Like, she makes really comfortable garments, and at the same time she uses fun color combinations and textures. So I really like what she's doing. And so she's the Blue Mouse on Instagram, and she recently put out a testing call for a sweater, which is a drop shoulder sweater, like really loose and comfy in garter stitch with a drop stitch motif. Let's look, so drop stitch stripes, and she knitted hers out of a bunch of fingering weight scraps. And I saw this and was like, that would be interesting. I have a lot of fingering weight scraps. I don't know what to do with it, and I don't want to make a blanket. And yeah, I would like to have a project for scraps, and I don't want to make a blanket, like really, no. I don't have the patience for blankets, I realized. I started a crochet, a granny stripe thing. It's just, it bores me. I threw the whole thing away. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is nice, like a sweater. I can do that. I can do that. And so I'm bad at putting colors together. I don't feel like it's intuitive for me. Like, I'm always challenged when I try to associate colors and to get it right, and to go beyond comfort zone and to go beyond just copying what the designer did. I'm not comfortable doing that. And so I thought, well, let's jump into it and take this as a challenge for myself. Like, I'm going to force myself to put a ton of different colors together for this sweater and somehow make it work and make something at least wearable inside. No, I'm joking. But so I gathered a bunch of scrap yarn, and I figure I tried to look, do they look good all together or no? I put a picture on my Instagram yesterday, so you can kind of see this, like this, and a bunch of stuff. So I'm not gonna be able to hold all of them together at the same time. But I actually started knitting on it. And so my plan is, I made sure, like, I have a lot left over of my tweed yarn that I used for two projects, two sweater projects. I have leftovers. It's a natural based tweed yarn, and so I thought I'm gonna use that as sort of a neutral thing. And so whenever I ran into a problem and I don't like how the colors are matching together, I'm going to use that to kind of break the color thing and sort of merge everything together. Emily in the pattern says that she recommends to make small stripes, basically to try and change color often, and because it sort of blends things a bit easier, and I agree. So I started knitting on it. So it's knitted flat, basically. You knit the back, you knit the front, you seam the shoulders together with a 3 needle bind off, then you pick up stitches for the sleeves, you knit the sleeves flat, and then you seam the underarm together, and then you pick up a little bit for the neckline. The reason you do that is because it's garter stitch, and who wants to purl garter stitch? I certainly don't. So you knit flat, and this is what I have so far. I started on the back. Oh my god, this is going to be impossible to show. So this is what I have so far. So this is the drop stitch motif that I told you about. Basically you have different lengths dropped stitches. These are the big ones, these are the small ones, these are the medium ones. And yeah, this is what my sweater is looking so far. Yeah. It looks okay, no? It's kinda smooth, I think. I like it. I like it. It's quite fun. So, as you can see, for example, so far I changed my mind once. After that mint green here, I jumped straight into the yellow, and it was too harsh, and so I decided, no, I'm gonna put in a chunk of my tweed yarn, and so I did, and so now I think it's better. So it's a really loose gauge. It's a 20 stitch per 10 centimeter gauge in garter stitch, and so the garter stitch is going to hang a little bit and be really low and loose. So since this is using fingering weight yarn, it's going to be really drapey and loose, and on top of that you have the holes of the drop stitches, so it's going to be really like a flowy type of garment. You could use things double, I guess. Pretty easily. You can use a DK or a sportwear yarn, or you can double your scraps, or even just buy a bunch of mohair if you like that sort of thing, and just hold it together with your scraps all the time if you want to have something a little bit plumper and not such a loose fabric. But I like loose fabrics, I don't mind them, and for such a nice flowy garments, I think it's nice to stick to the recommended aspect of the knitting. So yeah, running you down the colors I'm using. This is a mini skein I had from Cosmic Strings yarns in an aubergine colorway. This is another Cosmic Strings in marshmallow. This is the yarn I use for my Zweig. This is a mint mini skein from Hedgerow yarns that I use in my Osvaldo socks. So it was a sock set with a brown yarn and this mint mini, so this is it. This is my base tweed yarn, which is undyed. This is a skein from Mahudli in Fermin, which is this bright yellow that I used for a design that you may have seen on Instagram. This is some more of the tweed basic, and I just started knitting with Malak Brigo Potion, which I have left over for quite a while, and which is probably like one of my favorite hand-dyed yarns. I mean, look at that. And so I started incorporating this. And the pattern is really easy to follow. It basically tells you knit X rows of garter and make this type of drop stitch and blah blah blah. Very easy to follow, very easy to modify and adapt if you want to as well. Yeah, it's just really nice to knit on, and basically you can really focus on arranging your colors if that's a problem for you. But of course you can make like just one color or just two colors or whatever. But like I said, I'm using it as a challenge to help me with my color association apprehension. It's gonna be Tales Festival, obviously. I'm going to do it as I go, because I don't think I'm going to enjoy weaving all the ends at the end, because there's going to be a lot of them. So I'll probably start weaving them in tonight, the ones I already have here. And yeah, this is what it looks like. I'm really looking for, like, I think it's gonna click when it's all together, basically. Yeah, it's a fun project. I'm happy to test for the Blue Mouse because I like her work. This is a little stitch marker that was very kindly gifted to me by Natasha of Artemis Yarns, which is a French dyer. She makes crazy speckled yarns. You might know her, which I met at the coffee shop, yarn shop in Toulouse I mentioned. And this is like a lovely little bubble progress marker that I'm just keeping there. Yeah. I think it's gonna be good. I'll really try to make my best with the color sequence. But yeah. In the pattern she gives a link to a resource that generates stripes for you if you want to play, like a really nice website. I tried it, but I don't want to follow it. But yeah, she gives lots of tips on how to arrange colors. If you are using scrap yarn, she gives lots of information about how to check and measure your knitting, because since you are using garter stitch, your blocked sweater is gonna look and measure completely different to a small swatch, because it's gonna be a sweater, so it's going to be really heavy, so it's going to be pulling a lot more on the garter stitch, and so kind of have to be mindful of that. I am using a much smaller needle size that she did. I'm using 4mm needles, like I said, to achieve a 20 stitch gauge once pulled and block. I know that because I just finished knitting a garter stitch thing in that same gauge, and I know what I should get. But yeah, I'm knitting size 3. It's like a lot of positive ease sweater with a clever armhole shaping, which I'm really curious to get into. And yeah, this is what I've been working on. I think I've said everything about this. I'll have more to say as I advance on the test. But yeah, the Blue Mouse, she has a podcast also on YouTube. You probably know her. But if you don't, you can check her out. She's ridiculously sweet. And yeah, this is my designs, my knitting for the past couple of weeks. I want to finish this way too long episode. Oh my god, we're back to the hour-long episode. I want to finish this episode by making a review of Making Stories' new pattern collection. So you know Making Stories, and they have just launched their September collection, which is a collection of beautiful patterns, and I really like it. I like all of the patterns in it, and I think it's really interesting because they kept the kind of timeless, easy to wear knits, but they kind of went up into offering something where each of the piece still has a distinctive element to it. So if it's still minimalistic, but they have a theme, all of them. And so if you were not into Making Stories because you don't really like simple, extremely minimalistic things, I think maybe you will enjoy it because they all have something particular. I want to mention 2 patterns that I really like. The first one is the Sashiko sweater, which is a drop shoulder sweater. Absolutely beautiful, like comfy, loose, like general Making Stories vibe. But it has the I think it's called Sashiko, the mending, the Japanese mending method, you know, like this technique has been going all way around in our community, because it's like you see those jeans, for example, that are mended with, it's a way of making mending visible and artistic. Actually, it's an embroidery craft, and basically you're fixing something but you're making it beautiful. And so this sweater, it really it has these Sashiko embroidery threads on it, on the body, and I just think I'm going to insert a picture here. It really looks nice. I that's what I mean, but it's still something quite easy to wear and simple and minimalistic, but it has that little twist for me. And the second design from the collection I want to mention is the one that I loved from the start. It's the variance. I'm saying it the French way because it's a French word, I guess. well, not really, but it could be if like French grammar too complicated. It's short wove sweater, so it's knitted sideways, and it with a clever picture here, with a clever system of short rows, it makes these lines. And so you see, it's like, it's a timeless staple. It can be like so easy to put over jeans, over a dress, so easy. And if you knit in neutral colors like the sample is, I mean, absolutely fantastic. And at the same time, like, it's really interesting. The construction of it is so fun, and I always really like a short row design. I've never really been knit into one and haven't dug through short row systems yet, but I always find it creates really interesting shapes, and this sweater plays around with it, and it's really nice. So the collection has other accessories and other garments that are really nice as well, so they're all available on Ravelry, and you can have a look at them. And like, the pages are available on Ravelry, and you can check the designs. I found like there's no schematics of the patterns on the copy that I have, at least, so it's a digital download. I'm not even saying the things. The collection is available as a digital download through Ravelry, so the link will be in the description, obviously. But yeah, there's no schematics of the patterns, of the designs in the collection, which I found odd, but there are very detailed measurements of everything for every pattern, so I guess that's okay. As usual, I've read through the patterns and they're very clear and nice, and the lookbook, all the pictures in it are beautiful, like general making stories style. So yeah, it's a collection that I really liked, and I thought you might too, because it kind of is a good combination of something minimalistic but that still has a little technical or visual interest, or both, in the finished product as well, I guess. But yeah, it's a nice collection, and I wanted to share it with you. So it is available on Ravelry, like I said, and you can check Making Stories to learn more about each of the designs in this collection. And I think I have said everything. Yeah. I will end this podcast right now, because 1 hour, 3 minutes, 40, 41, 42, oh my god. Just stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry if this episode was such a mess. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked the projects I had to show you. I thought it was really fun, because I feel like it's been a while since I had such different projects to share. You know, I mean, we have traditional color work, we have convertible mittens revelation, and we have scrappy projects. I mean, yeah, a variety of things. And yeah, I will see you at the end of September / beginning of October. I don't know. I am working on something that will need to have a presentation. Not that. Yeah. I will see you towards the end of September, I believe. In the meantime, you can find me on Instagram as usual, and on Ravelry, where you can find my designs and my group. And yes, thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely month of September. I assume it's back to school for a lot of people, so yay to a new school year. Have a lovely time, and I will see you in a few weeks. Bye.